The invisible load, releasing what you carried all day. Purpose, to help readers recognize and release the emotional burdens they carry throughout the day so they can rest with peace and wake up lighter. What if you carried a lot today but you don't have to sleep with it too? Chapter outline. Recognizing the invisible load. The weight of unspoken thoughts. Micro stresses that add up. The energy of unfinished conversations. Emotional clutter from others. Letting go without guilt. Creating a nightly release ritual. Speaking peace to the mind and body. Waking up lighter, the power of emotional reset. Living daily with a lighter soul. Chapter 1, Recognizing the invisible load. You wake up with a full heart, a list of intentions, and a spark of hope. But by nightfall, something invisible begins to press down. It's not always dramatic. It's subtle. Like carrying a backpack that slowly fills with small stones as you go through your day, barely noticeable until you try to sleep. This is your invisible load. You might not even realize you're carrying it. But your body knows. Your breathing tightens. Your mind loops conversations. Your heart feels heavier than it should. These are signals from your inner world whispering, "There's something here that needs to be acknowledged before you close your eyes." Why we don't see the load. Modern life doesn't pause long enough for emotional check-ins. You handle problems quickly, push through discomfort, and silence inner protests because there's always something else demanding attention. You've become skilled at adapting, smiling through meetings, staying composed when things go wrong, nodding at strangers, replying to texts, and suppressing your own needs in favor of keeping peace. But emotions, unlike forgotten items, don't disappear just because we don't look at them. They linger waiting patiently to be felt, understood, and released. And nightfall is their sacred window. When the world quiets down and distractions fade, your inner voice finally surfaces. The unprocessed pieces from your day rise up. Thoughts return. What you wish you'd said. What you held back. The tension of pretending you were okay. The many forms of the invisible load. This burden doesn't always come as a clear story. Often, it's layers of unfinished emotions, sadness, irritation, or confusion that never got named. Energetic exchange absorbing other people's moods or stress unconsciously. Mental clutter, small worries piling up into a fog. People-pleasing residue when you agree outwardly but feel conflicted inside. Personal expectations, judging yourself for not doing enough. Each one may seem small, but together, they create emotional weight, and weight, when left unchecked, leads to exhaustion, poor sleep, and a disconnect from your true self. Becoming aware is the first step to lightening it. Awareness isn't blame. It's observation without judgment. A gentle pause to say, "I wonder what I've been holding today." And then simply listening. You may notice tight shoulders or clenched jaws. A scattered mind. An emotional ache. This is your body's wisdom speaking the truth your mind might have ignored. Start by honoring it. Sit in a quiet space. Place a hand on your chest. Breathe in slowly. Then ask, "What did I carry today that I haven't let go of yet?" You don't need perfect answers. What comes up may surprise you. Perhaps a memory from this morning. An unmet need. A look someone gave you. A fear you didn't speak out loud. Don't analyze it. Just witness it. Letting the load speak. Every burden carried in silence still has a voice. Sometimes it says, "I felt dismissed. I needed help but didn't ask." That comment stung. "I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying so hard, but it's never enough." Let those statements emerge. Say them softly, even whisper them aloud. Give form to the formless. You are not weak for feeling this. You are wise for acknowledging it. This isn't about staying stuck in emotion. It's about letting it complete its cycle from experience to expression to release. When we name what we carry, we begin to set it down. A subliminal shift, from pressure to presence. Inside every emotional load is a request, please meet me. The moment you meet it with loving awareness, it begins to soften. Like a wound exposed to air and sunlight, it starts to heal. This practice doesn't require hours. Just a few sacred minutes of honesty before bed. It's not indulgence, it's alignment. And in that alignment, something beautiful happens. You reconnect with your true presence, the part of you that is calm, whole, and unwavering beneath the noise of the day. This presence says, you did enough today. You are allowed to be human. It's okay to rest now. Closing the chapter with lightness. Tonight, before sleep, let this be your simple practice. Sit quietly with your hand over your heart or your belly. Breathe in and out slowly, counting to 4. Ask gently, what am I holding from today? Listen softly, no fixing, just witnessing. Speak a release phrase, like, I allow myself to set this down. This no longer needs to stay in me. I send this weight into the night to be transformed. Then, give thanks. To your body. To your emotions. To your resilience. And as you lie down, whisper, I no longer need to carry what today asked of me. I am safe. I am loved. I can rest. You deserve to sleep without the weight of the world. You are allowed to end today with softness. And tomorrow, you will rise a little lighter because you dared to let go. Chapter 2, The Weight of Unspoken Thoughts. You didn't say it, but you felt it. And that's enough to weigh you down. There's a peculiar kind of heaviness that doesn't come from what's been said but from what hasn't. The sigh you swallowed. The truth you bit back. The opinion you kept to yourself to avoid conflict. The compliment you longed to give but hesitated. The no you couldn't say. The yes you didn't mean. These unspoken thoughts form threads, quiet, invisible, but tightly wrapped around your inner world. As the day wears on, these threads begin to tighten. Not with force, but with presence. Lingering presence. And by the time night falls, the things you didn't say start whispering louder than the things you did. You carried those words in silence, and silence has its own kind of weight. Why we hold back? Humans are deeply social creatures. We crave harmony, approval, and emotional safety. From a young age, many are taught not just what to say but also what not to say. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't be too emotional. Don't disagree. Don't offend. Don't cry. Don't make waves. And so, we learn to mask. To edit. To self-censor. But emotional honesty never disappears, it only burrows inward. Each moment you silence your authentic expression, you place a stone on your emotional shelf. One stone is manageable. But a shelf loaded daily with unspoken truths begins to strain, creak, and finally, collapse. Not all at once. Often quietly, as anxiety, sleep disturbances, tightness in the chest, or a vague sense of restlessness. The voice within. You may not speak it aloud, but your body does. Unspoken thoughts live in the tension in your jaw. The sigh that escapes when no one's watching. The way your shoulders slump by evening. The conversations you rehash in your head at night. They are not gone. They're just internalized. That I'm fine you offered when you were breaking? That maybe later when you really meant no? That time you nodded to keep peace, while your heart screamed. They didn't vanish, they waited. Tonight, let them be heard. A ritual of unspoken acknowledgement. You don't have to say it to anyone else. But you must say it to yourself. This is a safe space. No judgment. No correction. Just presence. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and whisper gently. What did I not say today that's still living inside me? Wait. Breathe. Feel. Let the responses come. Don't edit them. Don't label them as right or wrong. You might hear, I needed help, but I didn't ask. That comment hurt me more than I let on. I should have said thank you. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. Let each truth rise like bubbles to the surface. Each one is part of your emotional release. This process isn't to encourage confrontation, it's to release yourself from the grip of emotional silence. The healing power of self-expression. The moment you speak an unspoken thought, even if only to yourself, you create energetic movement. You affirm, my voice matters. My truth matters. Even if no one else hears me, I will hear myself. This is not about drama. This is about dignity. It is about reclaiming your internal space so your peace is no longer cluttered by what you could not say. By giving yourself permission to speak in a safe space, a journal, a whisper, a written note burned after you reclaim power from the day. Try this, the nightly expression practice. Before bed, take a piece of paper or open a voice note on your phone. Ask yourself, what did I keep inside today? And let it pour out. You might write, a complaint you held back. A kind word you wished you'd said. A defense of yourself you didn't feel brave enough to voice. A boundary you ignored. Let them out. Then, breathe in deeply and say, I give voice to my truth. I give myself peace. And tear the page. Delete the voice note. Burn the message if you like. It's not for keeping. It's for clearing. This isn't a ritual of blame, it's one of release. Replacing the unspeakable with healing words. Once you've released what you didn't say, replace it with a truth you need to hear. Something your soul is hungry for. Something kind. Like, I honor my truth, even when I don't speak it aloud. My silence does not mean I'm invisible. I am growing in courage and kindness toward myself. I am allowed to express my feelings. Repeat it slowly, like a lullaby for your soul. Let the healing begin where the heaviness once lived. A subliminal message for emotional enrichment. Tonight, as you rest your head on the pillow, breathe in a new pattern of being. I am safe to speak, safe to feel, safe to be. Even in silence, my voice matters. I release what I held and I sleep with peace. Let that truth seep into your subconscious. Let it become your bedtime prayer. Because the person who hears you first is you. And when you hear yourself clearly, the world doesn't feel quite so heavy. Ending the day with emotional freedom. You don't have to fix everything you didn't say. You don't need to regret it. You don't need to carry it. You only need to listen now and let it go. The day is over. The silence has been honored. And your heart, at last, can soften. You carried unspoken thoughts today, but now, you can release them. And tomorrow, perhaps, you'll speak a little more freely. Not for anyone else, but for the lightness of your own soul. Sleep gently. You're heard. You're whole. You're healing. Chapter 3, Micro Stresses That Add Up. Not every burden is big, but even small drops can overflow the cup. Most of us can name the major stressors in life: an argument, a health scare, a financial concern. But the truth is, what weighs us down day after day isn't always the loud and obvious. More often, it's the quiet accumulation of tiny emotional disturbances that chip away at our peace. These are called micro-stresses. They slip past our awareness. They don't demand our full attention. They're easy to shrug off until they're not. Like grains of sand in your shoe, you might ignore the first one, the second, even the 10th. But eventually, they make every step painful. And by the time night comes, your body feels tired, your mind feels scattered, and you wonder why you're so drained even though nothing dramatic happened. That's the silent power of micro-stress. What are micro-stresses? Micro-stresses are the subtle, low-grade tensions that occur throughout your day. They're brief, often unspoken, and may seem too minor to matter individually. But over time, they compound. Some common examples. That notification tone that made your heart jump. The glance from a colleague that felt like disapproval. The 5 emails you haven't replied to and keep thinking about. The traffic delay that disrupted your morning rhythm. The guilt from forgetting a small task. The moment you felt unheard in conversation. The self-criticism when you caught a glimpse of your reflection. Each one may pass quickly, but together, they form an emotional residue, sticky, heavy, unspoken. Why they accumulate silently. Micro-stresses don't feel like real stress. They're not emergencies. So we tell ourselves to move on, dismiss, suppress. But the nervous system still records them and holds onto the tension they create. The problem is, we rarely pause long enough to release them. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every small pebble of stress goes in. Someone talks over you in a meeting, pebble. You feel behind on laundry, pebble. You forget a friend's birthday, pebble. You skip lunch again, pebble. At the end of the day, the weight of that bag is real even though no single stone seemed heavy enough to matter. That's why it's not just major stress you must release before bed, it's also the minor irritants you thought you could ignore. A nightly scan, clearing micro-stress before sleep. Your body knows what you tried to overlook. Try this before bed. Close your eyes and sit quietly. Scan your body slowly, starting from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Ask gently, where do I feel tight, tense, or unsettled? Don't rush. You may notice a clenched jaw, a furrowed brow, a fluttering heart, an unsettled stomach, a heaviness in your shoulders. Once you locate the stress pockets, bring your attention there. Ask, what small things did I carry here today? Let images, thoughts, or memories surface. You might be surprised at how vivid the small things are once you slow down enough to listen. Acknowledging what seemed too small to matter. The moment you name a micro-stress, it loses its grip. You might say, that moment I felt ignored in the elevator, it stayed with me. I didn't like how rushed I was all day. I've been quietly worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. I'm carrying self-doubt because I wasn't as productive as I hoped. None of these are catastrophic, but they are real. And real emotions deserve release. This practice isn't indulgent. It's intelligent self-care. Try this, the micro-stress journal dump. Once your body scan is complete, open a journal or a note-taking app and jot down every minor frustration, worry, or disappointment that pops into your mind, no matter how silly or petty it seems. Examples. The grocery store was out of my favorite snack. I wish I had more time for myself today. My posture wasn't great in that Zoom call. I hate how tired I looked in that photo. When you write these out, you're not complaining, you're decluttering. This is emotional hygiene. Just like brushing your teeth removes the buildup from the day, this practice clears the unseen debris from your heart and mind. A subliminal shift toward lightness. Once you've released the micro-stress, it's time to rewire your bedtime narrative. Say quietly to yourself, what I felt was real. and I no longer need to carry it. Even small things deserve care. Tonight, I choose peace over pressure. My mind is clear. My body is relaxed. I am safe. Let these truths sink in. They are gentle, but powerful. A 2-minute micro-stress meditation. Inhale deeply for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale slowly for 6 counts. With each breath, imagine a light wind blowing the tiny grains of stress out of your body. Repeat this visualization for 2 minutes. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your chest soften. Feel your nervous system downshift into calm. Your inner whisper tonight. As you prepare for bed, let your heart whisper this. I don't have to earn rest by being perfect. I don't have to hold tension from small moments. I am worthy of a gentle night. Because you are. Closing reflection, lighter by 1 ounce. Imagine if every night you released just 1 ounce of tension. In a week, your spirit would be 7 ounces lighter. In a month, nearly half a kilo of emotional weight gone. And in a year you'd barely recognize the peaceful, present version of yourself. All by tending to what others and often, even you overlook. You don't need to fix your whole life tonight. You just need to empty the pockets of your soul, the small irritations, the tiny doubts, the quiet regrets. Release the little things. And reclaim your lightness. Sleep well. You are clear. You are cared for. You are free from what no longer needs to stay. Chapter 4, The Energy of Unfinished Conversations. Words left hanging don't just disappear, they echo within us until we respond to them. You've likely walked away from a conversation and felt something linger. A tension. A discomfort. A swirl of what you wish you had said. Maybe the interaction ended abruptly. Maybe it never began. Maybe it was polite on the surface but unsettled underneath. What happens to the energy of those unfinished conversations? They stay. Not in the air but in you. In your mind, your body, your emotions. They loop back unexpectedly during quiet moments. They play like a broken record during your evening walk, or just as your head hits the pillow. And if not addressed, these loops can become a background hum of anxiety, draining your peace and disturbing your rest. What makes a conversation unfinished? It's not always about needing to talk longer. An unfinished conversation is one that leaves emotional residue behind. It might be a disagreement with no closure, a misunderstanding that was never clarified, a boundary you wanted to set but didn't, a moment you froze and said nothing, a conversation you rehearsed in your mind but never had, a silence that screamed louder than any words. These fragments don't vanish with time. They float just beneath your surface, and at night, when silence surrounds you, they rise. Why? Your mind replays them. Your brain seeks resolution. It doesn't like open loops. When a conversation ends without a sense of completion, especially if it stirred emotion, the mind tries to finish it later through replay, overthinking, or even imaginary arguments. This mental rehashing is exhausting. It hijacks your evening peace, disrupts your sleep, and keeps you emotionally tethered to moments that are already over. But here's the truth: you don't need another person to finish the conversation. You only need yourself, your attention, your reflection, and your release. The invisible load of what I should have said. You've probably had moments where you walked away from a conversation and later thought, why didn't I say that? I wish I explained myself better. I should have spoken up. Why did I stay quiet? These aren't just regrets, they're emotional energy leaks. They pull at your attention and drain your self-confidence bit by bit. But every night, you have an opportunity to reclaim that energy, not by reliving the past, but by releasing it with grace. The evening reflection ritual, completing the unfinished. Before sleep, ask yourself, what conversations today felt unfinished in my heart? Close your eyes. Let the images come. A passing exchange. A glance. A message left unread. A talk that didn't land the way you hoped. A conversation you avoided entirely. Then say aloud or write down what you wish you had said. What you needed to hear. What truth felt ignored or swallowed. No one else needs to hear it. But you do. Example of a released dialogue, private, in your journal. Today, I talked to my manager, and I didn't speak up when I felt misunderstood. I wish I had said, "That's not what I meant." I felt dismissed and small. So tonight, I say it here. I speak it into the air. I mattered in that moment, and I still do. My silence was protection, not weakness. And I forgive myself for not speaking because now I have. This is completion. Not through confrontation but through conscious closure. Releasing conversations that will never happen. Some conversations stay unfinished because they can't happen. Maybe the person is no longer in your life. Maybe the moment has passed. Maybe the words were never safe to say aloud. Or maybe you're waiting for an apology that may never come. These are the heaviest. But they are also sacred invitations to speak to your own soul. You can still write the letter. Speak to their spirit. Burn the paper afterward. Cry it out. Whisper it under moonlight. It's not about them anymore. It's about freeing yourself from emotional captivity. Try this 5-minute conversation completion practice. Sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Bring to mind someone you had an unresolved moment with. Speak aloud or silently in your mind. Here's what I wanted to say. Here's how I felt. Here's what I needed. Then affirm. I have said what needed saying. I release this from my heart. I no longer carry the echo of this moment. I choose peace. Subliminal shift, creating internal resolution. You are not dependent on others to give you closure. Closure is a self-given gift. It begins when you validate your voice, your needs, your experience. Tonight, tell yourself, I finish what was left undone in my heart. My peace does not wait for their response. I sleep with nothing unspoken between me and my own soul. These affirmations rebuild trust in yourself. They reinforce that you are enough, even when others don't respond as you hoped. Healing words before sleep. Let this be your final whisper tonight. Whatever conversations I could not finish today, I finish within myself. I honor what I wanted to say. I forgive what was unsaid. I close the page. I choose rest. I welcome peace. And breathe. As you drift into sleep, feel the emotional static dissolve. The loops stop spinning. The inner echoes soften. You are no longer stuck in the moment. You are released. Closing reflection, no more carrying ghost conversations. Tomorrow may bring more words, more people, more moments that don't end neatly. That's okay. You now have a practice, a ritual, a tool. You don't need to carry these fragments into your dreams. You don't need to store other people's unresolved energy in your sacred space. You don't need to wait for the right moment to feel whole. You are allowed to end the day in harmony even if life remains imperfect. So finish your night with this knowing. Nothing unfinished can hold me back when I finish it within myself. Sleep gently. Sleep empty of burden. Sleep full of presence. You are heard. You are healed. You are whole. Chapter 5, Emotional Clutter from Others. Not all the weight you carry is yours. Some of it belongs to people who never asked for help, but left their burdens with you anyway. Have you ever ended the day feeling completely drained but couldn't quite explain why? Nothing particularly bad happened. You were helpful, attentive, supportive. But by the time you lay down to rest, it felt like the life had been slowly pulled from your chest, like someone siphoned your peace without asking. That's the effect of emotional clutter from others. Every day, you interact with dozens of people at work, in your family, online, or even in passing. Some are kind and light. But others carry invisible heaviness, and without meaning to, they let it spill into your space. And because you're caring, because you're empathetic, you absorb it. Not intentionally. Not because you're weak. But because your open heart and sensitive nature make you a container for other people's unspoken struggles. But here's the truth. You are allowed to care without carrying. You are allowed to love without loading yourself with their pain. You are allowed to listen without losing yourself. What is emotional clutter? Emotional clutter is the residue left behind after interacting with other people's emotions, especially when they are unresolved, heavy, or chaotic. It can include other people's frustrations, sadness, or complaints, the emotional vibe of a tense room, a friend's ongoing crisis, family expectations or passive guilt, conversations that felt like emotional dumping grounds, social media posts that triggered anxiety or comparison. These emotions, although not yours, stick to your energy field when you don't know how to release them. Why you absorb it? People who are naturally compassionate often act like emotional sponges. You listen well. You notice subtleties. You can read a room. And you often offer more presence than others expect because it's in your nature to be supportive. But unless you've been taught energetic boundaries, you've likely confused compassion with responsibility. Here's the distinction. Compassion says, I see your pain and I care. Responsibility says, I must fix your pain or carry it with you. And when that line blurs, you end up emotionally exhausted by problems that aren't yours to solve. How to know you're carrying others' emotional clutter? Check in with yourself. Do you feel tired after being around certain people, even if they didn't do anything wrong? Do you replay other people's problems more than your own? Do you find it hard to say no because you fear disappointing someone? Do you avoid certain conversations because they're too heavy, yet you feel obligated to show up? Do you feel guilty for resting or having joy when someone you care about is struggling? If you said yes to more than one, you're likely taking on emotional clutter that isn't yours. The release ritual, detangling what isn't yours. Before you go to bed tonight, create a sacred 5-minute pause for emotional sorting. Sit or lie down in stillness. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Ask gently, what emotions am I carrying right now that don't belong to me? Let images or names arise naturally. It may be a friend you comforted earlier, a colleague who vented during lunch, a family member whose energy felt heavy. Now place your hand over your heart and affirm, I release what is not mine. I return it with love and light. I no longer carry what my soul did not choose. Feel the energetic clutter begin to lift. Visualize your aura clearing. Close your eyes and imagine your body surrounded by a soft glowing light, your energy field. Now picture gentle rain or warm wind brushing through it, washing away the stress you absorbed, the tension that clung to you, the stories that are not your own. Feel yourself becoming clearer, lighter, more you. You are not a storage unit for others' emotions. You are a sacred vessel for your own peace. Try this, the Mind vs. Not Mine journal exercise. In your journal, create 2 columns. Left side, what I felt today. Right side. Was this mine? Write down emotions you experienced: stress, sadness, tension, guilt, heaviness. Then ask, was this mine? Or did I absorb it from someone else? If it wasn't yours, write, this doesn't belong to me. I let it go. This conscious separation teaches your system emotional sovereignty, the ability to differentiate between your own truth and someone else's energy. Subliminal shift: I am not a dumping ground. Let this be your inner whisper tonight. I can care deeply without carrying deeply. I return to myself. I keep what nourishes. I release what drains. I am not a container for the pain of others. And breathe that truth into your soul. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. Gentle boundaries for emotional freedom. Sometimes we need permission to set boundaries, not walls, but filters. Your peace matters too. Try these phrases in your heart, or aloud when needed. I love you, but I need space to refill my own energy. I'm here for you, but I can't carry this alone. I trust you to handle what's yours, and I'll support you with love, not sacrifice. Emotional clutter loses its power when you lovingly choose what you engage with. Closing ritual: sleep without the residue. As you lie down tonight, place your hands on your chest or belly and whisper, I return to myself. I bless everyone I encountered today. But I release their emotions. I keep my center. I am whole. Feel the weight begin to dissolve. Feel your body loosen. Feel your breath deepen. Sleep isn't just physical. It's emotional, too. And tonight, you've made space to truly rest without the clutter of anyone else's chaos. Closing reflection: be a lighthouse, not a lifeboat. You are not here to rescue everyone. You are here to shine, to stand firm in your peace, to light the way, not to drown in another's storm. Tomorrow, you may still care, still support, still offer your kindness. But tonight, you let go. Let go of their stories. Let go of their burdens. Let go of their chaos. And return fully to yourself. You are clear. You are clean. You are whole. Chapter 6: Letting Go Without Guilt. You're not selfish for letting go. You're sacred for protecting your peace. There's a quiet battle many of us fight every day: the struggle to let go of emotional burdens without guilt. Even when we know something is weighing us down. Even when we feel burned out. Even when we've done all we can. We still hesitate to release. Why? Because guilt whispers lies like, you should do more. Letting go means giving up. Good people don't walk away. You'll hurt someone by saying no. Rest is lazy. Boundaries are cold. So, we hold on. We overfunction. We overthink. We overextend. All the while, our own peace withers. But here is a truth that will set you free. Letting go is not an act of abandonment, it's an act of alignment. When you release what no longer serves you, you're not rejecting others. You're returning to yourself. Why guilt shows up when you let go. Guilt is a complex emotion often tangled with upbringing, social conditioning, and inner narratives. You may have been taught to always put others first. Be the strong one. Stay loyal, no matter the cost. Push through pain instead of pause. Keep going, even if it hurts. So when you begin to prioritize your emotional well-being, guilt shows up like a shadow. It tries to make you second-guess your healing. But guilt is not always a signal of wrongdoing. Sometimes, it's just a sign that you're breaking free from old conditioning. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to protect your soul from becoming a landfill of other people's expectations and unresolved energy. What does it mean to truly let go? Letting go isn't forgetting. It's not abandoning your values. It's not pretending you never cared. True letting go is releasing the need to fix what's not yours. Releasing the outcome you can't control. Releasing the version of yourself you had to become to survive. Releasing the guilt for choosing your peace. It's saying, I love, but I also release. I serve, but I am not enslaved. I show up, but not at the cost of my center. Guilt versus responsibility. Let's get something clear, guilt is not the same as responsibility. Responsibility means you do what's within your power to maintain integrity and compassion. Guilt is the emotional residue that remains when you believe you're not doing enough even when you are. You may feel guilty for saying no to an invitation when you're exhausted, not replying to a message immediately, creating space from a draining person, prioritizing rest over productivity. But none of these actions make you a bad person. They make you a balanced person. Releasing guilt through conscious affirmation. Before sleep tonight, try this practice. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Recall one thing you feel guilty about, something you've been emotionally carrying. Breathe deeply and place your hand on your heart. Say aloud, I did what I could. I showed up the best I knew how. I do not need to carry guilt for choosing peace. I let go with love, not shame. Repeat until your body feels just 1 degree lighter. This is the beginning of freedom. Visualization, releasing the guilt balloon. Imagine you're holding a balloon filled with your guilt, the pressure, the heaviness, the whispers of not enough. It tugs at your arm, keeping you attached to moments that are already gone. Now, picture opening your hand. The balloon floats away not because you don't care, but because you trust that your worth is no longer tied to your guilt. As it disappears into the sky, whisper, I forgive myself for holding on. I free myself to live lighter. Try this, why I don't need to feel guilty journal prompt. Write down the situation you've been carrying guilt over. Then list what you did well, what was out of your control, what you've learned, why your boundaries were necessary. End your journal entry with, I forgive myself. I'm allowed to move on. My peace is sacred. Do this regularly. It reprograms guilt-based thinking with self-compassion. What letting go without guilt looks like. Saying, I can't take this on right now, and trusting it's okay. No longer explaining your boundaries just to be understood. Leaving the phone unanswered for the night and feeling no need to apologize. Resting in bed without finishing the to-do list. Letting someone feel disappointed without rushing in to rescue their emotions. Every time you practice this, you reclaim a piece of your inner sovereignty. Subliminal shift, peace over pleasing. Say this softly to yourself. My value is not measured by how much I hold for others. My peace matters. I am not responsible for everyone's happiness. I let go without guilt, and I rise without shame. Let that truth marinate in your subconscious. It plants the seed for future self-trust. A nightly whisper to self. As you prepare to sleep, breathe in calm. Exhale pressure. Then say, I did enough today. I was enough today. I let go not because I'm careless, but because I finally care for me. And feel the shift from burden to breath, from guilt to grace, from holding on to healing. Closing reflection, letting go is a sacred act. You were not born to carry it all. You were not designed to say yes when your heart says no. You do not need to prove your worth by your endurance. Letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The guilt you feel is a teacher, but it's not your truth. So tonight, lay it down. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the peace return. Let yourself be free. You are not bad for choosing boundaries. You are not selfish for choosing rest. You are divinely aligned when you choose peace over pressure. Sleep light. Sleep forgiven. Sleep free. Chapter 7, Creating a Nightly Release Ritual. Let the day fall off your shoulders, one breath at a time. By the time the sun sets, most people have already accumulated invisible weight, unspoken emotions, half-finished tasks, drained patience, scattered thoughts, delayed dreams, and misunderstood moments. But instead of pausing to unload, we often go straight from overstimulation to sleep, expecting our bodies and minds to make the leap with no bridge in between. That's why bedtime becomes restless. That's why we toss, turn, and replay the day instead of releasing it. That's why we wake up with heaviness, feeling like we never truly rested. The answer? Not a sleep pill. Not more scrolling until your eyes burn. Not numbing distractions. What you truly need is a nightly release ritual, a sacred container where you gently return to yourself, cleanse your emotional field, and prepare your body for deep restoration. Why you need a nightly ritual? Sleep isn't just physical. It's energetic, emotional, and spiritual. A nightly ritual tells your nervous system, it's safe now. You don't have to fight, fix, or figure out anything more today. It closes open mental loops. It silences self-judgment. It gives your subconscious clear permission to rest and restore. This ritual doesn't need to be complex. It only needs to be intentional. The anatomy of a release ritual. There are 5 powerful elements that make a nightly release ritual truly transformational. Stillness. Breath. Reflection. Releasing words. Sensory comfort. Let's walk through them. Keycap 1. Stillness, the gateway to inner presence. Stillness is how we transition from external chaos to internal calm. Begin your ritual by turning off loud lights and silencing digital devices. Sit or lie down in a space where you can be alone, even if it's just for 5 minutes. No music yet. No journaling. Just you and your breath. Let your body know. We're slowing down now. We're safe here. This first step is non-negotiable because stillness is where the noise of the world ends, and the truth of your heart begins. Keycap 2. Breath, the gentle reset. Now, breathe. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 to 8 counts. Repeat for 2 to 3 minutes. This practice lowers your cortisol, stress hormone, signals your brain to enter rest mode, brings your awareness back to the present. As you breathe, say internally, with each breath, I release the weight of the day. Your breath is the most accessible and natural form of emotional detox. Keycap 3. Reflection, gathering what was left behind. Once your body is calm, gently ask yourself, what did I carry today that's still inside me? You may recall a moment of self-doubt, a misunderstanding, a task you didn't finish, someone's disapproving tone, something beautiful you didn't stop to savor. Don't analyze. Just observe. Imagine placing each item into a basket at your feet, a symbolic act of gathering, not to carry longer, but to offer it up for release. You may want to whisper, I see you. Thank you. I no longer need to hold you. Keycap 4. Releasing words, speak your piece. Now comes the sacred release. Speak aloud or silently in your heart the things you are ready to let go of. Use phrases like, I release this from my mind and body. I did enough today. This does not need to follow me into sleep. I forgive myself for what I couldn't complete. I return others' emotions back to them with peace. If you prefer, write these in a journal. Or, record them in a voice memo and listen to yourself speaking freedom. You are not just clearing thoughts. You are resetting your soul. Keycap 5 Sensory Comfort, anchor safety into your body. The final layer of your ritual is touching the physical world in a way that signals comfort and safety. This might include wrapping yourself in a soft blanket, holding a warm mug of herbal tea, lighting a candle, applying lavender oil to your wrists, putting your hand over your heart or belly, playing soft ambient sounds or calming music. These sensory signals tell your body, you're home, you're loved, you're safe. And safety is the doorway to sleep. Optional enhancements to deepen the ritual. If you want to elevate your nightly practice over time, consider gentle stretches or yoga to release physical tension. A gratitude list of 3 moments from the day that uplifted you. A visualization of yourself placing today in a box and closing it. A prayer or mantra that grounds you, example, I rest in divine protection. Listening to a guided meditation or bedtime audiobook. But always return to this truth. The ritual isn't about perfection. It's about presence. What happens when you make this a habit? Within 1 week, you'll fall asleep faster. You'll feel less mental clutter. Your dreams may become clearer or more vivid. Within 1 month, you'll wake up lighter. Emotional triggers will soften. You'll start to notice what you carry and let go sooner. Within 3 months, you'll no longer need to numb or avoid your feelings at night. Your sleep will become a sanctuary, not a struggle. You'll meet each day with more clarity and energy. Because when you release the day, you renew the soul. Subliminal shift, rest is not a reward, it's a right. Let this mantra root deeply in your heart tonight. Rest is not something I must earn. Releasing the day is my sacred ritual. I do not go to sleep full of noise. I go to sleep full of peace. Speak it gently. Let your nervous system absorb it like lullaby. Final whisper before sleep. Tonight, let this be your final message to yourself. I close the day with gratitude, not guilt. I clear the noise with love, not shame. I sink into sleep knowing I am whole even if the day wasn't. You are not behind. You are not burdened. You are in your own arms now. Let go. Lay down. And receive the restoration your spirit has longed for. You did not come this far to carry everything forever. Let it fall away now, gently, peacefully, completely. Chapter 8, Speaking Peace to the Mind and Body. When the world has been loud, speak softly to yourself. Your inner voice becomes your sanctuary. Your body listens. Your mind listens. And both respond to the way you speak to them, especially at night. After a long day of external noise, unspoken frustrations, social pressure, overstimulation, and silent responsibilities, your inner world becomes your final companion. You lie in bed, eyes closed, and your thoughts begin to speak, not always gently. If left unchecked, your mind becomes a courtroom of judgment. Your body becomes a battleground of tension. And your soul, the one asking only to rest, gets pushed aside. But you have the power to shift this dynamic completely. Not with effort, but with intention. Not through silence, but through gentle speech. This chapter is about reclaiming your internal dialogue and turning it into a sacred act of self-soothing, healing, and emotional harmony. The inner dialogue you're not always aware of. Before we learn to speak peace, we must first recognize how often we speak pain. Your inner voice may say, I didn't get enough done today. Why did I say that? I looked awful on camera. I'm behind on everything. No one noticed how hard I tried. I'll never catch up. Even if no one hears these words, you do. And they leave emotional fingerprints across your nervous system. Each time you reinforce fear, guilt, or criticism in your self-talk, your body tightens, your breath shortens, and sleep becomes a fight rather than a gift. How thoughts become physical tension. The mind and body are in constant communication. When you think stressful or self-critical thoughts, your body reacts instantly. Your muscles tense. Your heart rate quickens. Your digestion slows. Your shoulders lift. Your jaw clenches. Over time, your body begins to carry the emotional tone of your inner language. But here's the beautiful truth. Just as the body responds to fear, it also responds to compassion. The words you whisper to yourself at night can either deepen your wounds or become medicine for your soul. What it means to speak peace. Speaking peace isn't about fake positivity. It's about intentional softness. It's the practice of saying to yourself what you most need to hear, not because it erases pain, but because it soothes the places pain once lived. Speaking peace means replacing "I'm not enough" with "I'm doing my best, and that is enough." Replacing "I shouldn't have" with "I was human, and I forgive myself." Replacing "I'm so tired of myself" with "I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm worthy." Replacing "I'll never get it right" with each day, "I'm closer to wholeness." It is not delusion. It is reparenting your inner world with grace and presence. Try this, the evening peace dialogue. Before you sleep tonight, place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Take a breath. And softly say, "Mind, thank you for helping me solve so much today. You can rest now. I give you permission to pause." Body, thank you for carrying me through this day. I release all tension. You are safe now. You may soften. Heart, thank you for feeling deeply and loving fully. You are seen. You are loved. You are free. This dialogue isn't just poetic, it's neurological recalibration. It teaches your system that you are not in danger. You are in peace. Peace script for self-compassion, customize or repeat nightly. I am not my mistakes. I am my recovery. I am not my exhaustion. I am my effort. I am not my fear. I am my willingness to keep going. I am not broken. I am rebuilding. I am not behind. I am on a path that is uniquely mine. Read this aloud. Or record it in your voice and listen before bed. Hearing your voice speak healing words reshapes your subconscious in ways you can't even measure. Pairing peace with breath. To deepen the effect, pair peaceful words with calming breath. Inhale through your nose, say in your mind, "I welcome peace." Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale through your mouth, say in your mind, "I release what I no longer need." Repeat 5 times. Breath plus words equals emotional reset. You don't need hours. You just need intention. Subliminal shift, words as emotional frequency. Every word carries frequency. When you speak anger, your cells tense. When you speak fear, your energy tightens. When you speak peace, your body opens. Tonight, plant this seed in your subconscious. I do not speak war to my mind. I do not scold my body for being tired. I do not shame my emotions for needing release. I speak peace. And peace changes me. Repeat these silently as you prepare to sleep. Let them imprint calm into your energy field. Affirmations to anchor before sleep. Choose 3 of the following and repeat them slowly. I am safe, even if I'm still healing. I release the pressure to perform. My body is worthy of rest. I speak gently to myself now. I've done enough for today. I no longer chase peace, I am peace. Each one is a blanket. Each one a balm. Each one reminds your spirit of its original rhythm, ease. Closing visualization, becoming your own sanctuary. As you close your eyes tonight, imagine a soft golden light surrounding you. This light is made of every peaceful word you've spoken to yourself. It wraps around your body like a warm cocoon, sealing out harshness, sealing in softness. Whisper. This is my sanctuary. My mind is calm. My body is held. My spirit is light. And with that, surrender to sleep. Surrender to softness. Surrender to yourself. Closing reflection, you are the voice you've been waiting for. You don't need the world to validate you before you rest. You don't need to fix everything before you feel peace. You only need to speak differently to yourself. Speak as a loving parent would. Speak as a wise guide would. Speak as your best friend would. Speak as God would. The way you speak to your mind and body at night sets the tone for how you walk through the next day. So tonight, speak peace. Speak gentleness. Speak healing. And let those words become your lullaby, the sound of safety, the rhythm of rest, the soft power of self-love. Chapter 9, Waking Up Lighter, the Power of Emotional Reset. When you release the day before sleep, you don't just rest, you rise differently. There's something sacred about the early morning, that thin, gentle space where yesterday loosens its grip and today begins to take shape. And yet, so often, we enter it already heavy. Our first thoughts? Unfinished business. Lingering emotions. A mental to-do list that floods the stillness before our feet even touch the ground. But it doesn't have to be this way. When you make peace with your day before you sleep, when you speak kindly, breathe gently, and release the invisible load, something miraculous happens. You wake up lighter. You rise with clarity, with purpose, with space in your heart to receive the day instead of just surviving it. This is the power of an emotional reset. And it begins not in the morning, but in how you choose to close your night. Why most people wake up tired, even after sleep. It's a strange irony, you go to bed to recharge, but still feel like a phone stuck at 12% battery when the alarm rings. That's not just a matter of hours slept, it's a sign of unresolved emotional weight. Your body may have rested, but your mind? Still processing. Your heart? Still holding. Your soul? Still entangled in loops from yesterday. If your dreams are chaotic, if your thoughts start racing the moment you wake, if your body feels stiff even after 8 hours, chances are, you didn't emotionally unplug. That's why the nightly release ritual is so essential. It doesn't just help you sleep, it sets you up to wake with renewal. The neuroscience of emotional reset. During sleep, your brain doesn't shut off, it becomes highly active in healing and memory consolidation. Emotional residue from your day is sorted, filed, or carried into the next day, depending on whether you process or suppress it. If you release consciously before bed, your brain tags events as resolved. Your nervous system enters deep rest. You experience more REM, healing, sleep. But if you go to bed carrying stress, guilt, resentment, or overstimulation, the brain stays in light processing mode. You wake feeling like the day never really ended. You become emotionally cluttered by day 3 or 4. Emotional reset is not a luxury, it's biological maintenance. What waking up lighter actually feels like. When you reset emotionally, your mornings begin to transform. You open your eyes with calm instead of dread. Your breathing is deeper. You feel possibility instead of pressure. You notice small joys: morning light, bird song, the silence of dawn. You approach your day with inner spaciousness, rather than mental chaos. You begin your morning not with the weight of yesterday but with the lightness of presence. This doesn't mean life is suddenly perfect. It means you've stopped dragging your old stories into new moments. The 3-part reset principle, for every morning. If you've done your nightly release ritual, you'll feel this shift naturally. Still, here's a simple morning practice to enhance and complete the emotional reset. 1. Breathe before you think. Before grabbing your phone, before replaying your schedule, take 3 intentional breaths. Inhale, I welcome peace. Exhale, I release yesterday. This tiny pause sets the tone for presence. 2. Name one light emotion. Ask yourself, what's one thing I feel hopeful about today? It could be a conversation you're looking forward to, a task that brings you meaning, the gift of simply being alive. Let that emotion become the first color you paint on today's canvas. 3. Move gently into the day. Stretch your body. Drink water slowly. Speak a phrase out loud, like, today, I begin from wholeness. I carry only what belongs to today. I am not behind. I am aligned. This simple practice finalizes the emotional reset that began the night before. Emotional reset is not equal to emotional erasure. Let's be clear, resetting doesn't mean forgetting your responsibilities or denying your emotions. It means you no longer carry yesterday's tone into today's decisions. You acknowledge pain without letting it define you. You offer yourself a new starting point not because you earned it, but because you deserve it. It's grace. It's maturity. It's a way of telling the world, I choose to lead with light, not with loops. Subliminal shift, from recurrence to renewal. Most people live on emotional repeat. Same thought loops, same triggers, same weight. But you're learning to reset. You're teaching your system that every day can be new, not just on calendars, but in your soul. Repeat this softly each morning. This day does not inherit the burdens of the one before it. I am not obligated to repeat what I've released. I rise with space, with softness, with sovereignty. Let those words echo into your spine, your breath, your movement. The night to morning connection. Every night you unwind emotionally is a gift you give to your future self. You're telling them, I'm doing the cleanup now, so you can wake lighter. I'm letting go so you can show up with clarity. I'm speaking peace so you can rise with power. This creates a rhythm of internal respect, a sacred cycle that strengthens your emotional resilience day by day. Closing visualization, the new day lightness. As you end your day and prepare for the next, imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a new morning. You're holding a suitcase. You open it and it's empty. No regrets. No resentments. No loops from yesterday. Just space. Just light. Just you, unburdened, unhurried, unafraid. Breathe that in. Final whisper before tomorrow. As you close your eyes tonight, affirm gently. I've done the work of letting go. I've honored what was, and I now welcome what will be. I do not rise with yesterday's weight. I rise with the quiet strength of a rested soul. Tomorrow isn't waiting to pressure you, it's waiting to receive you. And you, dear one, are becoming the kind of person who meets each day with space in your lungs, softness in your voice, and serenity in your chest. Sleep now. And let the lightness begin. Chapter 10, Living Daily with a Lighter Soul. You weren't made to carry everything, you were made to live freely, with breath in your chest and light in your heart. You've come a long way. From recognizing the invisible weight you carry each day to learning how to lay it down with intention, breath, and compassion, you've begun a sacred process. One that doesn't just help you sleep better, but helps you live better. Now, it's time to go one step further. Beyond the nightly release. Beyond the morning renewal. It's time to embrace a new way of living. Living with a lighter soul. This isn't a fantasy. It's not a privilege reserved for monks or mystics. It's a daily, grounded, soulful practice accessible to anyone willing to be just a little more conscious, a little more kind, and a little more willing to stop clinging to what was never meant to stay. What does it mean to live light? Living with a lighter soul doesn't mean life stops being hard. It means you stop over-identifying with every emotion. You stop dragging stories from the past into the present. You start meeting each moment as it is, not as a burden. You learn to carry only what's yours and to carry even that with grace. To live light is to live awake, but unburdened. It's to say, I can face life fully without being swallowed by it. How we accidentally reinvite heaviness. Even after learning how to release, we sometimes fall back into old patterns. Why? Because the world constantly teaches us that more is better. More productivity equals more worth. More involvement equals more love. More doing equals more safety. So we gather. We absorb. We say yes when we mean not really. We scroll endlessly. We compare. We hold it all in. But lightness is never about more. It's about less attachment, less mental noise, less guilt. So ask yourself regularly. Is this light or is this weight? Is this mine to carry or simply mine to witness? Can I love this without holding it forever? The practices of a light soul. To make this a way of life, not just a bedtime routine, consider integrating these daily micro-habits. 1 midday check-in. Pause halfway through your day. Close your eyes. Ask, what am I holding right now that I didn't start the day with? A tone someone used. A lingering task. An emotion you've suppressed. Then whisper, I can set this down. I am not its home. This simple act resets your nervous system and restores clarity. 2 gentle transitions. Before you move from task to task, from work to home, from phone to conversation, breathe deeply and release. You might say, that part of the day is complete. I arrive fully here. Carrying the stress of the previous moment into the next only multiplies weight. Arrive fresh, whenever possible. 3 sacred no and sacred yes. A light soul is not one that avoids life, it's one that lives intentionally. Say no to emotional obligations that rob your peace. Tasks that aren't aligned with your priorities. Conversations that drain without depth. Say yes to silence, movement, nourishment. People who bring you home to yourself. Every no is a door closing on heaviness. Every yes is a door opening to light. 4 touch something real. At least once daily, put your hands on something that grounds you. The bark of a tree. The softness of a pet. A warm mug. The earth beneath your bare feet. Living light doesn't mean escaping reality, it means returning to what's real. 5 let joy be light, not loud. You don't need to chase big highs to feel good. Let joy be found in the way light enters a room. A favorite song. A genuine smile. The softness of your own breath. Joy is the soul's way of reminding you, we're still here. We're still whole. Subliminal shift, my soul is not a storage unit. Let this inner statement become your new compass. I am not here to store pain, regret, guilt, or comparison. I am here to flow, to feel, and to let go. When you begin to live this truth, you'll notice your posture changes. Your interactions soften. Your presence deepens. Your life feels less like survival, more like sacred rhythm. The ripple effect of lightness. When you live light, you don't just help yourself, you help the world. You become a calmer parent, a more honest friend, a more creative thinker, a more compassionate listener, a safe space for others, without sacrificing yourself. Your emotional hygiene becomes your legacy. Your peaceful presence becomes a silent permission slip for others to do the same. A daily declaration for living light. Repeat this aloud each morning or write it in your journal. Today, I carry only what aligns with my highest good. I release drama, delay, and doubt. I keep clarity, courage, and compassion. I let go often. I return to myself quickly. And I choose peace again and again because peace is where I thrive. Final whisper, you are allowed to be free. You don't need a reason to live with lightness. You don't need permission from anyone to feel peace. You don't need the past to change before you feel ease in your chest. You only need to say, today, I will walk lightly. I will think gently. I will speak softly to myself. I will not grip what wants to be let go. This is how the light soul lives. Not perfectly, but presently. Not weightlessly, but wisely. Closing reflection, the journey is the destination. This book was never just about sleep. It was about awakening. Awakening to how much you've carried. Awakening to your right to release. Awakening to the small, sacred ways you can choose softness over struggle. And now you know the way. So live it. Every evening, release. Every morning, rise. Every day, return to lightness. You don't owe the world your exhaustion. You owe your soul your freedom. And with that, breathe deeply, live gently, and walk through this world with nothing heavy left inside of you. Biggest takeaway for readers and listeners. You don't have to carry what no longer belongs to you. You are not the sum of your past weight, nor the echo of your unsaid thoughts, nor the container of other people's emotions. You are a sacred being designed to breathe, feel, release, renew, and rise again lighter each time. This book gently reveals one essential truth. Your soul was never meant to live heavy. It was meant to live whole. By learning to recognize and release the invisible burdens you carry daily, guilt, tension, unsaid words, inherited stress, micro-anxieties, you begin to hear your inner voice again. Connect with your truest purpose. Feel worthy of rest, clarity, and direction. How to leverage this book for self-enhancement, transformation, and daily focus. 1. Integrate the nightly ritual into your routine, 15 minutes max. Use the techniques in chapters 6 to 8 to form a repeatable nightly release ritual. Emotional scan. Self-forgiveness mantra. Breath plus visualization. Gentle closure phrase. This helps you reset each day with a clean emotional slate, making space for insight and divine inspiration to enter. Life tip: emotional clarity at night leads to stronger focus by day. 2. Use the morning reset declaration, chapter 9, to start focused. Instead of starting with your phone, recite your personalized version of, "Today, I carry only what aligns with my highest good." This emotional boundary keeps you aligned with what truly matters, your mission, not the world's distractions. Life tip: when your energy is focused inward before it's pulled outward, you master your day before the world reacts to you. 3. Re-engineer your daily mental narrative. Replace these old thought patterns. I should have done more. I'm behind in life. My mistakes define me. With, I release what no longer serves. I begin each day as a sacred restart. I live to contribute, not to carry. Over time, this neurolinguistic shift rewires your sense of identity from one of self-blame to one of purpose-led peace. 4. Anchor appreciation through lightness. Each time you release emotional weight, immediately acknowledge. I am blessed to breathe. I am blessed to feel. I am blessed to begin again. When you let go of stress, you gain awareness of grace. This trains your subconscious to associate lightness with appreciation, not just relief. Eventually, you begin seeing even your struggles as opportunities to find hidden blessings. 5. Reconnect with your main objective in life daily. Use this nightly question. Did I carry today what mattered most to my soul's purpose? If the answer is no, forgive yourself and realign tomorrow. If yes, celebrate the day as progress. Your purpose becomes clearer as your burdens become lighter. Spiritual integration. All is well, God blessed. This book is not only about emotional release, it's about soul restoration. By letting go of what is not yours to carry, you open space for what God desires to place within you: peace, clarity, and calling. Remember, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Release is a form of worship. Rest is a form of trust. Lightness is a form of alignment with divine will. When you sleep in peace, you wake in purpose. When you carry light, you give light to the world. In summary, how this ebook helps you self-transform. You stop recycling pain and begin building presence. You stop hoarding regret and start living by design. You stop minimizing your contribution and start magnifying your spiritual impact. You become a soul who sleeps gently, lives purposefully, walks lightly, and blesses the world simply by being whole. Reaching RTSG with AI assistance via WhatsApp QR code. Recommended Reinventing Ourselves YouTube video QR code.